And I wanted to mention that you just mentioned that less people are going shopping and stuff, and I think technology does have an impact on that because we're home sitting
online.
in our underwear,
Absolutely.
shopping online. Exactly.
It's a great way to shop.
So yeah, time does change things, and that's something you just can't control.
Right.
So.
Right.
Now you can be seen on these city council meetings every week, except like 1 week a year, I think it is. Don't you go on vacation? She goes on vacation once, like once a year.
Vacation once a year. I'm going next week though too, but I don't think that's a council meeting, so I'm all right.
Oh, okay. So you can watch that on Channel 16 at these council meetings. I understand that at one point you did not want, or you were opposed, I read, to these meetings being filmed and aired on television. Is that true? And if so, do you still feel that way?
John, you and I talked about this earlier. Okay. It wasn't as much as an opposition to the shows actually being taped and having viewers have access to this. It was more, my question always has been that do people come to the city council meeting to actually voice their concerns or give solutions to problems or to address the city council? Or are people coming, and I don't mean everyone, but are there individuals, and what's the percentage of those individuals that come to the city council meeting to be a television star, to actually, have that time on the camera? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with individuals having access to a camera or to media, but I guess sometimes I question people's motivation, and would that person appear to be as impassioned if a camera was off?
So is it safe to say you definitely feel there are people who do this? Yeah, I do. I do think that. I do think that. And that's just my opinion. That's just one person's opinion. Right. And not to diminish other people coming before the rail or coming down to the city council meeting. I'm not saying that every individual who does that, but I think, and I don't think I'm alone in that thought. But I'm being brave and I'm saying it. I tend to agree with you as well. I mean, I want to say that you are very stern when you sit there at the council meetings. You don't react a lot, and you seem to have a really tough skin. Where does that come from?
12 years of being on the city council meetings.
Did you take it personal in the beginning?
I think there's times when for me to say, oh, I never take it personal and it never bothers me, I'd be lying if I said that.
Because we're only human after all.
Exactly. Okay. I think, over the years, you do become a little bit more or less sensitive to it. But I mean, it's, you're human, so some days it bothers you and some days it doesn't. And, and we're not allowed to, it's not the protocol of the meeting to respond back to individuals. Right. And so you do have to kind of, not remove yourself, but try to really remain neutral. Yes. Because the cameras are on your face, and so when you start to show reaction and you roll your eyes or you do something, oh yeah, I got to tell you, my sister who works with you or works at OTB,
Irene,
and she's my critic. She'll call me and tell me, watching you, you're rolling your eyes. I watched you tonight. You kind of made a face when so and so. So
I would imagine that's a tough thing to do, though. I mean, you're sitting there, you're taking criticism time after time. I mean, how do you do that without, wanting to say, shut up and get out of my face? I mean, I'm sure you do.
Well, you might say it in your head. You might say it in your head, or you might, also, I've learned over the years to, number one, consider the source, and number two, not to take it personal.
And because my thought, and sometimes what gets me through all of this, is like, if this person is saying this about me, I'm sure they're probably saying things about other people as well. I'm sure that they're not getting up in the morning and saying, oh, I can't wait to go down to the city council meeting and just say rotten things to Denise Brucker. I'm sure they got a whole list of rotten things that they say all day long to people. They're not, you know, it's not unique unto me. And so I try not to over-personalize things.
But it must be difficult when they single you out personally. When there's an entire council and they look at you in the face and say, Denise Brucker, it's your fault.
No one wants to be criticized, but
no one does. And I think no matter what you do, you can't make everybody happy.
There you go.
So
there you go. Very good point.
Can't make everybody happy. Now you were chairman, I believe, on the safety committee.
Public safety. I chair public safety committee.
Okay, tell me about that.
Public safety oversees police, fire, any of the issues that come up within the city of public safety, dispatch. We work a lot with the departments to find out, you know, even budget-wise, what kind of grants do they have coming in. We look at around budget time very closely because those two departments are probably some of the largest budget-wise. Work with the departments to find out what's going on. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of disruption and things spinning out of control, or at least appearing to, at the police department in terms of a lot of the officers that have had legal difficulties in the past couple years.
So do you have authority in that?
You know, we don't have authority in terms of disciplining or anything like that, but we really try to look more at policy.
Okay.
You know, what kinds of things can we do to maybe eliminate these things from happening in the future? You know, what kinds of things do we need to put in place in terms of policy with the police department to see that, you know, these issues don't crop back up again? But, you know, you're also dealing with, you know, very strong union issues and personnel issues. So, you know, unfortunately, they're not as plain and simple issues as one might think at times.
And I was reading in the paper that one police officer who happened to be in trouble, Schenectady police tend to be often, and one of them, you said you were going to make sure that there'd be some discipline put in place. I was reading. I'm not sure the exact quote, but something along that line. So is that something, does that relate in that way, where you have the power to speak to people to make sure that these policies are put into place?
I'm not sure what case you're referring to, but we certainly, if it's something that's brought to our attention in terms of making sure or something like that, it really is more about following the case and working with the administration to determine what kinds of you know, sanctions the council and the mayor's office have the ability to do. And again, if you don't, let's find out why not, and let's figure out how we can, you know, alleviate a problem from like this happening again.
So basically, you just look at all the issues there and try to come up with a solution.
Exactly. Try to come up with solutions. I mean, so much of that is, and so much of it is, you know, or to overcome a barrier that's right up there in your face and try to figure out a way to get around that barrier and try to problem solve and really try to brainstorm, you know, how can we make the city better? How can we make the city work better? And how can we work more with the individuals that work for the city to get them to engage, to get them to believe that it's in their best interest to work with the residents of the city?